Did you know there are towns in the United States where doctors say you can live longer and age better? I didn't believe it until I moved to one. Here, the air isn't just breathed, it's appreciated. The pharmacy is just a few steps away, and the doctor knows everyone by name and asks how you slept. Neighbours help each other, the streets are quiet, and time itself seems to walk a little slower. When the body starts asking for calm and the soul just wants time, these places become medicine. Today, I want to take you with me to discover the 25 towns in the United States recommended by doctors to live longer, age better, and do it with dignity. And I'll tell you this, town number 7 has such an efficient healthcare system that many call it the place where people grow old without fear. And number 3 has the highest life expectancy in the country. A place where aging isn't the end of the story, but the beginning of a calmer life. 25. Asheville, North Carolina. Mountains and integrative health. Asheville is a town that seems designed for those who want to breathe better. Surrounded by the Appalachians, its clean air and mild climate are recommended by doctors who insist on the importance of walking and staying active without spending. Here, regional hospitals, including Mission Health, offer reliable care, and the city has invested in preventive health programs that include guided walks and nutrition workshops. Retirees find in Asheville a rare balance, rents more affordable than in large North Carolina cities, local markets with fresh products, and a community that blends bohemian spirit with tradition. Doctors highlight that the combination of clean air, nearby healthcare and cultural activities reduces the risk of isolation and depression. Asheville is attractive to visitors, and that can make certain areas more expensive. The strategy is to choose modest residential neighbourhoods, away from the tourist centre but close to hospitals and markets. There, life becomes a sustainable routine, walking trails, attending a free concert, and sharing coffee with neighbours who still believe in face-to-face conversation. 24. Sarasota, Florida. Sun as medicine. Sarasota is a refuge of light. Doctors recommend it because the warm climate reduces joint pain and improves mobility for older adults. Here, hospitals, such as Sarasota Memorial Hospital, offer top-level care, and the retiree community is so large that activities seem designed for them. Rents, although higher than in small towns, remain moderate if coastal tourist areas are avoided. Doctors insist that the key is to choose inland neighbourhoods, where life is cheaper and healthcare is still close. Public culture is rich. Free concerts in parks, active libraries and community centres offering adapted exercise workshops for seniors. Doctors highlight that the combination of sun, physical activity and community reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease and improves mental health. The risk lies in the temptation to live by the sea. Prices skyrocket and tranquility fades. The strategy is clear. Look for modest neighbourhoods where the sun remains medicine and the community functions as a support network. If Sarasota heals with sun, Lancaster shows that tradition can also sustain life with little. 23. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Tradition as refuge. Lancaster often appears as Amish country, but doctors recommend it for deeper reasons. Life here is affordable, local markets offer fresh food, and the regional hospital guarantees reliable care. Rents are lower than in Philadelphia or New York, and although not dirt cheap, they allow a monthly check to cover essentials. Doctors highlight that a diet based on fresh, local products improves metabolic health and reduces risks of chronic disease. The community functions as a network, neighbours helping each other, churches organising community meals, and libraries offering free workshops. Doctors insist that this social network is silent medicine against loneliness and depression. The risk lies in tourist temptation. Living near the Amish circuit makes life more expensive. The strategy is to choose modest neighbourhoods, away from the tourist postcard, but close to basic services. There, life becomes a sustainable routine, walking to the market, attending a workshop, and sharing coffee with neighbours who still pay in cash. If Lancaster teaches that tradition sustains, Eau Claire shows that predictability is also wealth. 22. Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Predictability as wealth. Eau Claire is discreet, but doctors recommend it because predictability reduces stress. Here, rents are moderate, utilities do not spike each season, and the healthcare system, backed by Mayo Clinic Health System, offers reliable care. The city invests in public culture, free concerts in Phoenix Park, active libraries, and community centres that integrate retirees as a living part of the community. Doctors highlight that the combination of economic predictability and cultural activities reduces the risk of anxiety and depression. The climate is cold in winter, but well-designed housing and support programs keep costs reasonable. Safety is another strong point. Walking along the Chippewa River is an everyday pleasure. If Eau Claire flaunts predictability, Pueblo shows that invisibility can be the best strategy. 21. Pueblo, Colorado, protective invisibility. Pueblo is the antithesis of Boulder. While the university city flaunts glamour and impossible prices, Pueblo remains discreet, affordable and livable. Doctors recommend it because its tourist invisibility keeps prices low and because the dry climate reduces respiratory problems. Here, life is sustained in a silent balance. Rents lower than in Denver, a reliable regional healthcare system, and a culture marked by working-class roots. Doctors highlight that the absence of glamour is an advantage. Activities are accessible, many free, and daily life does not demand constant consumption. The risk lies in mobility. Pueblo does not have abundant public transportation, and depending on a car can make the equation more expensive. The strategy is to pay a little more for a central rental, where pharmacies, supermarkets and clinics are within walking distance. Pueblo does not promise spectacle, it promises stability. And in old age, when every month is a test, that stability is worth more than any landscape. From invisibility, we move to deliberate calm. Florence, Alabama, where the Tennessee River becomes a silent companion. Before moving on to town number 20 and continuing to discover these incredible places, subscribe to my channel and leave a like if you'd like to visit any of them. 20. Florence, Alabama, the river as companion. Florence is a town that seems frozen in time, but not out of neglect, by choice. Situated on the banks of the Tennessee River, it combines the calm of a natural environment with the practicality of a mid-sized city. Doctors recommend it because life here is organised around essentials: affordable housing, nearby primary healthcare, and a community that still believes in neighbourly support. Rents in Florence are moderate, far below nearby markets like Nashville. That allows a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Healthcare is backed by regional hospitals and community clinics that accept Medicare, reducing the anxiety of not knowing if you will be able to pay for an appointment. Public culture is another strong point. Libraries with workshops, free concerts in plazas, craft fairs, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Doctors insist that these activities reduce the risk of isolation and keep the mind active. 19. Duluth, Minnesota. Resilience against the cold. Duluth is a port on Lake Superior that many associate with ships, wind, and a cold that cuts to the bone. The first impression is often of a tough city, marked by endless winters and an industrial landscape. However, those who have chosen to age here know that behind that harsh image lies an unexpected refuge. Rents in Duluth are lower than in Minneapolis, and although winter demands heating, state support programs and efficient housing prevent bills from skyrocketing. Community initiatives help seniors with energy subsidies, turning what could be an obstacle into a manageable expense. Public culture surprises, active libraries, free summer concerts, local markets, and community activities that do not depend on consumption. In summer, the city transforms, parks fill with life, free festivals offer music and food, and the community strengthens. 18. Roanoke, Virginia. Belonging as refuge. Roanoke is a town surrounded by mountains that looks like a postcard. Its quiet streets and classic-style houses convey calm. But behind that image is a city that local retirees have turned into a refuge. Rents in Roanoke are moderate, far below nearby markets like Washington, D.C. That difference allows a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Healthcare is backed by regional hospitals and community clinics that accept Medicare, reducing the anxiety of not knowing if you will be able to pay for an appointment. Public culture is another strong point. Libraries with workshops, free concerts in plazas, craft fairs, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill their week with simple, accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. 17. Springfield, Missouri. Predictability as treasure. Springfield is a mid-sized city that many overlook. It doesn't appear in tourist rankings or aspirational destination lists. But for local retirees, it is a refuge where frugality becomes stability. Here, rents are moderate, utilities don't spike with each season, and the regional healthcare system offers reliable care without long-distance travel. That combination makes Springfield a solid option for those seeking predictability. The city invests in public culture, free concerts, active libraries, community centres that don't treat retirees as a burden, but as a living part of the community. This investment translates into weeks full of free activities, allowing life to have content without draining the wallet. The climate is mild, reducing heating and cooling costs. Safety is another strong point. Springfield is perceived as a calm city, where walking its streets is not a risk, but a daily pleasure. Springfield doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts predictability. And in old age, when every month is a test, that predictability is more wealth than any landscape. 16. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Cultural blend as support. Santa Fe is known nationwide for its art, its history, and its unique adobe architecture. It is a tourist destination that attracts visitors with its galleries, museums, and cultural heritage. But behind that fame lies a town that local retirees have turned into a refuge. Here, life is sustained in a delicate balance, rents lower than in nearby tourist cities like Taos or Albuquerque, a solid regional healthcare system, and a community that blends Indigenous, Hispanic, and Anglo traditions into a social fabric that still believes in neighbourly support. Rents in Santa Fe are affordable if you avoid areas closest to the historic centre, where tourism drives up housing costs. In peripheral neighbourhoods, a social security check can cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Public culture is another strong point. Santa Fe offers free concerts, active libraries, local markets, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill their week with simple, accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. 15. Missoula, Montana. Bohemia and nature as refuge. Missoula is a university town surrounded by mountains, with a bohemian air that many associate with youth, alternative culture and student life. But doctors also recommend it for seniors, because behind that facade lies a quiet refuge for those seeking to live with little and stay active. Rents, although they have risen in recent years, are still lower than in tourist cities in Colorado or California. That difference is what allows a social security check to cover rent, food, and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that the natural environment is a free gym. Walking trails, breathing clean air, and staying active reduce cardiovascular risks and strengthen mental health. Public culture is rich. Active libraries, farmers' markets, free concerts, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. The climate, although cold in winter, is offset by pleasant summers and a natural environment that invites walking and staying active without spending. Parks and trails become free gyms, and nature offers health without bills. 14. Ithaca, New York, waterfalls and community. Ithaca is known for its university and its waterfalls, but behind that fame lies a town that local retirees have turned into a refuge. Doctors recommend it because life here is sustained in a delicate balance. Rents lower than in New York or Boston, a solid regional healthcare system, and a community that blends university youth with local tradition. Rents in Ithaca are affordable if you avoid areas closest to campus, where student demand drives up housing costs. In peripheral neighbourhoods, a social security check can cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that the mix of generations reduces the risk of isolation. Retirees participate in cultural activities alongside students, keeping the mind active and the spirit young. Public culture is another strong point. Free concerts, active libraries, local markets, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. 13. Boise, Idaho. Growth with humble corners. Boise is a city that has grown quickly but still preserves corners where life is sustained with little. Doctors recommend it because the key here is to choose peripheral neighbourhoods where rents are lower and the community functions as a support network. Healthcare is backed by regional hospitals and community clinics that accept Medicare, guaranteeing primary care without long trips. Doctors highlight that safety is a strong point. Boise is perceived as a calm city, where walking its streets is not a risk, but a daily pleasure. Public culture is rich. Active libraries, local markets, free concerts, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. The climate is mild, reducing heating and cooling costs. The risk lies in mobility. Boise does not have a robust public transportation system, and depending on a car can make the equation more expensive. The strategy is to choose central neighbourhoods where pharmacies, markets and clinics are within walking distance. Boise doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts predictability. And in old age, when every month is a test, that predictability is more wealth than any landscape. 12. Burlington, Vermont. Nature and neighbourhood. Burlington is a small town surrounded by nature with a community that still believes in neighbourly support. Doctors recommend it because life here is sustained in a delicate balance. Affordable rents, nearby primary healthcare, and a rich public culture. Rents in Burlington are moderate, far below nearby markets like Boston. That allows a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that contact with nature reduces stress and improves mental health. Public culture is another strong point. Libraries with workshops, free concerts in plazas, craft fairs, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. For a retiree without money, that offer is vital. It fills the week with activities without emptying the wallet. Burlington doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts belonging. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your check is enough and in the tranquility of a community that still believes in neighbourly support. 11. Des Moines, Iowa, the discrete capital. Des Moines is the capital of Iowa, but retains the air of a mid-sized city where life is organised around essentials. For local retirees, it is a refuge where rent remains affordable and the community functions as a support network. Rents in Des Moines are lower than in other state capitals, allowing a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that economic predictability reduces anxiety and improves mental health. Public culture is rich, active libraries, local markets, free concerts, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. For a retiree without money, that offer is vital. It fills the week with activities without emptying the wallet. The risk lies in mobility. Although Des Moines has public transportation, it is not as robust as in larger cities. The strategy is to choose central neighbourhoods where pharmacies, markets and clinics are within walking distance. 10. Johnson City, Tennessee. Hospitality and hills that make life affordable. Johnson City does not sell itself with fireworks. It offers porches, gentle hills, and quiet greetings, as if life here asked permission to enter. It is a city that learned to be accessible without noise, rents that don't bite, family-owned stores with reasonable prices, and a rhythm that allows managing the month without juggling. Neighbourhoods near the centre have that rare mix of practicality and calm. Markets just steps away, pharmacies that know the customer's name, lively libraries with workshops where older people find companionship without expense. The cost of living is not tied to spectacle, it is anchored in normality, and that normality in old age is abundance. Healthcare is not an abstract promise. The regional hospital system in the Tri-Cities, Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol, sustains primary care and necessary appointments without forcing you to cross states or lose an entire day in travel. For those who depend on Medicare, the peace of mind of knowing there is availability and proximity reduces a silent burden carried day after day. Risks? The temptation of the outskirts, cheaper houses, but far from everything. What you save in rent is lost in gas and time. The strategy locals recommend is clear. Prioritise the walking radius, market, clinic, pharmacy, library, and accept paying a little more to be close. The equation works when steps replace the car. Johnson City doesn't flaunt glamour. It flaunts hospitality that doesn't raise costs. It is the kind of place where people still ask, "How are you?" and wait for the answer. In 2026, that waiting, that time that doesn't rush, also makes life cheaper. 9. Fayetteville, Arkansas, youth and tradition shared. Fayetteville is a university city that combines youth with Southern tradition. For local retirees, it is a refuge where life is sustained in a delicate balance. Affordable rents, nearby primary healthcare, and a community that blends students with families who have lived there for generations. Rents in Fayetteville are moderate, far below nearby markets like Dallas. That allows a social security check to cover rent, food, and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that intergenerational coexistence keeps the mind active and reduces the risk of isolation. Public culture is another strong point. Libraries with workshops, free concerts in plazas, craft fairs, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. Fayetteville doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts belonging. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your check is enough and in the tranquility of a community that still believes in neighbourly support. 8. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Predictability as final wealth. Sioux Falls is a mid-sized city that many overlook, but for local retirees it is a refuge where frugality becomes stability. Here, rents are moderate, utilities don't spike with each season, and the regional healthcare system offers reliable care without the need for long-distance travel. The city invests in public culture, free concerts, active libraries, community centres that don't treat retirees as a burden, but as a living part of the community. This investment translates into weeks full of free activities, allowing life to have content without draining the wallet. The climate is mild, reducing heating and cooling costs. Safety is another strong point. Sioux Falls is perceived as a calm city, where walking its streets is not a risk, but a daily pleasure. The strategy for a retiree without money is simple. Choose a neighbourhood near the centre, where you can walk to markets, pharmacies and clinics. In this way, dependence on the car is reduced, and with it, the expenses of gas, maintenance and insurance. Sioux Falls doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts predictability. And in old age, when every month is a test, that predictability is more wealth than any landscape. 7. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Universities and advanced healthcare. Ann Arbor is a university city that breathes knowledge and health. Doctors recommend it because here is one of the most solid medical systems in the country, Michigan Medicine, which offers advanced and specialised care. For retirees, that proximity to top-level hospitals is a relief that reduces daily anxiety. Rents are higher than in small towns, but still moderate compared to large cities like Chicago. Doctors insist that the key is to choose peripheral neighbourhoods, where life is cheaper and healthcare is still close. Public culture is rich. Free concerts, active libraries, local markets, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. The risk lies in the cost of living, which can rise if you choose areas too close to the university campus. The strategy is to look for modest neighbourhoods where the community remains strong and services are within walking distance. Ann Arbor doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts knowledge and health. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your check is enough and in the tranquility of knowing that healthcare is just around the corner. 6. Madison, Wisconsin. Active community. Madison combines healthcare backed by university hospitals with a community that offers free activities. Doctors recommend it because here life is organised around essentials, affordable housing, nearby healthcare, and a community that still believes in neighbourly support. Rents in Madison are moderate, far below nearby markets like Chicago. That allows a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that economic predictability reduces the risk of anxiety and improves mental health. Madison doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts community. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your check is enough and in the tranquility of a community that still believes in neighbourly support. Before continuing to town number 5 and entering the final part of this tour, remember to subscribe and leave a like if you also feel that this trip is worthwhile. 5. Austin, Texas. Music and nearby healthcare. Austin is vibrant, but behind its musical and cultural fame, there are peripheral neighbourhoods where life remains accessible. Doctors recommend it because the city has top-level hospitals, such as St. David's Medical Center, and because music and culture function as silent medicine for the mind. Rents in central areas are high, but in peripheral neighbourhoods they remain moderate. Doctors insist that the key is to choose quiet communities. where daily life is organised around local markets and nearby clinics. Public culture is rich. Free concerts, active libraries, and community centres that integrate retirees as a living part of the city. Doctors highlight that music and social interaction reduce the risk of depression and improve cognitive health. The risk lies in the cost of living, which can rise if you choose overly touristy areas. The strategy is to look for modest neighbourhoods where the community remains strong and services are within walking distance. Austin doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts vitality. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your cheque is enough and in the tranquility of knowing that healthcare and culture are always close. 4. Portland, Maine, sea and calm. Portland is a port that breathes tranquility. Doctors recommend it because the clean Atlantic air reduces stress and improves respiratory health. In addition, the city has solid regional hospitals that guarantee primary care without long trips. Rents are lower than in nearby cities like Boston, allowing a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that contact with the sea has therapeutic effects. Walking along the coast, listening to the waves, and breathing salty air reduces anxiety and improves mental health. Public culture is rich. Active libraries, local markets, free concerts, and a community that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. The risk lies in the cold climate, which can make heating more expensive. The strategy is to choose well-designed housing and central neighbourhoods, where services are within walking distance. 3. Charleston, South Carolina. History and health. Charleston is a city that looks like it came out of a history book. Its cobblestone streets and colonial houses convey calm, but behind that postcard are solid hospitals and an active community that doctors recommend for seniors. Rents are lower than in nearby tourist cities, allowing a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that life in Charleston reduces the risk of isolation. The community organises fairs, free concerts and cultural activities that integrate retirees as a living part of the city. Healthcare is backed by regional hospitals and community clinics that accept Medicare, reducing the anxiety of not knowing if you will be able to pay for an appointment. The risk lies in tourism, which can make certain areas more expensive. The strategy is to choose modest residential neighbourhoods away from the historic centre but close to basic services. There, life becomes a sustainable routine, walking to the market, attending a workshop and sharing coffee with neighbours who still believe in face-to-face conversation. Charleston doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts history. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your cheque is enough and in the tranquility of a community that still believes in neighbourly support. 2. Tucson, Arizona. Climate as medicine. Tucson is a refuge of sun and dry air. Doctors recommend it because the warm climate reduces joint pain and improves breathing. Here, regional hospitals offer reliable care and the community organises activities that keep the mind and body active. Rents are lower than in nearby tourist cities like Phoenix, allowing a social security check to cover rent, food and services without draining the account. Doctors highlight that the dry climate is ideal for those suffering from arthritis or respiratory problems. Public culture is rich. Active libraries, local markets, free concerts, and a community life that does not depend on consumption. Retirees can fill the week with simple and accessible activities, turning routine into something rich and varied. Tucson doesn't flaunt glamour, it flaunts climatic health. Here, wealth lies in the certainty that your cheque is enough and in the tranquility of a sun that never stops accompanying you. 1. San Diego. California, sun and advanced healthcare. San Diego is expensive in some areas, but doctors recommend it because the climate is ideal and because the healthcare system is top level. Here, hospitals such as UC San Diego Health offer advanced and specialized care, reducing the anxiety of not knowing if you will be able to pay for an appointment. Rents are higher than in small towns, but remain moderate in peripheral neighborhoods. Doctors insist that the key is to choose quiet communities, where daily life is organized around local markets and nearby clinics. Public culture is rich. Free concerts, active libraries, and community centres that integrate retirees as a living part of the city. Doctors highlight that the mild climate reduces the risk of respiratory diseases and improves mobility. Now that you know these 25 towns, tell me, which one felt the most like yours? Which one did you picture yourself in, walking slowly through its streets, greeting the neighbours, and enjoying a morning with no rush? Let's see in the comments how many of us chose the same place. Because aging isn't about giving up. It's about learning to choose where life becomes kind again. And these towns, recommended by doctors, remind us that growing old can also mean living better, with health, with dignity, and with peace. So before you go, make sure to watch the next video I'm leaving on screen. Don't miss it. The information it brings can help you stay one step ahead and stay well informed about everything you need to live better.